and according to Scotland Yard, the crime took place at 24 Calvert Street, Paddington. The murdered woman was a Mrs. Maureen Lyon. In connection with the murder, the police are anxious to interview a man seen in the vicinity wearing a dark overcoat, light scarf and a soft felt hat. Motorists are warned against ice-bound roads. The heavy snow is expected to continue, and throughout the country there will be a certain freezing, particularly at points on the north and northeast coast of Scotland.
Mrs. Barlow? Mrs. Barlow? Huh. Oh, it really does look nice. And how stupid of Giles. Gosh.
Molly! Molly! Molly, where are you?
Doing all the work, you
Ah,
brute.
there you are. Leave it all to me. Shall I smoke the agate?
Done.
Oh, sweetheart, your nose is cold.
Well, I've just come in.
Why, where have you been? Surely you've not been out in this weather.
I had to pop down to the village to get some stuff I'd forgotten. Did you get the chicken netting?
It wasn't the right kind. Then I went on to another dump, and that wasn't any good either. Practically the whole day wasted. God, I'm half frozen. The car was skimming like anything. Snow's coming down thick. What you bet we're not snowed up by tomorrow?
Dear, I do hope not. Only the pipes don't freeze.
To keep the central heating well stoked up. Not too good. I do wish they'd send the coke along. We've not got any too much.
I do so want everything to go well at first. First impressions are so important.
Is everything ready? Nobody's arrived yet, I suppose.
No, thank goodness. I think everything's in order. Mrs. Barlow's left early, afraid of the weather, I suppose.
What a nuisance these days women are. That leaves everything on your shoulders.
And yours, Giles. This is a partnership, you know.
So long as you don't ask me to cook.
No, that's my department. Anyway, I've got lots of tins in case we're snowed up. Giles, do you think it's going to be all right?
Got cold feet, have you? Are you sorry now we didn't sell the place when your aunt left it to you, instead of having this mad idea of running it as a guest house?
No, I'm not. I love it. And talking of a guest house, just look at that.
Pretty good, what?
Oh, it's a disaster, don't you see? You have done the S. Monkwell instead of Monkswell.
Good Lord! So I did. However did I come to do that? Still, doesn't really matter, does it? Monkwell is as good a name.
Oh, it's a disgrace. You go and stoke up the central heating, will you?
Across that icy yard? Ugh. Shall I bank it up for the night now?
No, you don't need to do that till about 10 or 11 at night.
How appalling!
Hurry up, somebody can arrive at any minute now.
You've all the rooms worked out.
Oh yes, it's Mrs. Ward, front four-poster room, Major Metcalf, blue room, Miss Casewell, east room, and Christopher Wren, oak room.
I wonder what all these people will be like. Oughtn't they to have taken rent in advance?
Oh no, I don't think so.
But rather mugs at this game.
Well, they bring luggage. If they don't pay, they'd be hang on to their luggage. It's quite simple.
I can't help thinking we ought to have taken a correspondence course in hotel keeping. I'm sure to get ahead in some way. I mean, their luggage might be just bricks wrapped up in newspaper. Where should we be then?
They work from very good addresses, Charles.
That's what servants with forged references do. Some of these people may be criminals hiding from the police.
Well, I don't care what they are, as long as they pay us 7 guineas a week.
You're such a wonderful woman at business, Molly.
Oh.
And according to Scotland Yard, the crime took place at 24 Calvert Street, Paddington. The murdered woman was a Mrs. Maureen Lyon. In connection with the murder, the police are anxious to interview a man seen in the vicinity wearing a dark overcoat, light scarf and a soft felt hat. Motorists are warned against ice-bound roads. The heavy snow is expected to continue and throughout.
Oh, how do you do?
Awful weather, isn't it? My taxi came up at your gate. It wouldn't even attempt to drive. No sporting instinct. I say, are you Mrs. Ralston?
Yes.
How delightful. My name is Wren.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Wren?
You know, you're not at all as I pictured you.
Really?
I've been imagining you as a retired general's widow, Indian Army. Yes, I think I'm going to like it here. Do you have any wax flowers or plants of paradise?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, what a pity. Well, what about a sideboard? A parallel plummy mahogany sideboard with great solid carved fruits on it.
Oh, yes, we do actually, just in the dining room.
Oh, in here. I must see it. Come in, please.
Oh, do come and warm yourself.
Absolutely perfect. Real bedrock respectability. But why do away with the centre mahogany table? Real tables just spoil the effect.
Oh, and we thought the guests would prefer them. Oh, this is my husband.
Oh, how do you do? Awful weather, isn't it? Takes me back to Dickens and Scrooge and a little irritating Tiny Tim. So good, isn't it? Of course, you're absolutely right, Mrs. Ralston, about the little tables. You must have the right family around it. That's down. Weird. A prolific faded mother. 11 children of assorted ages. A grim governess. And then someone called Pa Harriet. A per relation of the family. Was the German dog's body. Oh, but who's very, very grateful to have been given a good home.
I'll take this upstairs for you. Oak room, did you say?
Yes, thank you.
I say, I do hope it's got a four-poster with little Chinese roses on it.
It hasn't.
I say, I don't really know husband. Don't tell me. Have you been married long? Are you very much in love?
We've been married just a year. Perhaps you'd like to go up and see our room?
Oh, ticked off. But, do you know, I do so like knowing about people. I think people are very interesting, don't you?
Well, I suppose some are, and some are not.
Oh no, I don't agree. I think they're all interesting because you know, you never really know what people are like, what they're really thinking about now. For instance, you don't know what I'm thinking about now, do you?
Not the least. Cigarette?
Oh no. You know, I'm an architect, and Christopher Wren,
Did he design St. Paul's?
he did, yes, and
It's funny that you've got the same name.
yes, I know, Christopher Wren's prefabness may yet go down in history.
Oh, yes.
I say, I adore your wife, she's very lovely.
Indeed.
Oh, isn't that just like English women? Oh, compliments always embarrass them. European women take compliments as a matter of course, but English women always have the feminine spirit crushed out of their male husbands. There's something very boorish about English husbands.
And do come up and see your room.
Oh, I say so.
Please, thank you.
This is Maxwell Manor, I presume.
Yes?
I'm Miss Boyle.
I'm Giles Ralston. Come into the fire, Mrs. Boyle, and get warm. Awful weather, isn't it? Is this your only luggage?
Major Metcalf is seen to it.
I'll leave the door.
The taxi wouldn't risk coming up the drive. It stopped at the gate. We had to share a taxi from the station, and there was great difficulty in getting that. Nothing ordered to me, so it seems.
We didn't know what train you'd be coming by, you see. Otherwise, of course, we'd have seen that someone was standing by.
All trains should be met.
Let me take your coat. I'll go along and give Metcalf a hand with the bags. My wife will be down in a minute.
The drive might at least be clear of snow. Most offhanded casual, I must say.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Miss Ralston,
Yes,
you're very young.
Young?
To be running an establishment of this kind, you can't have had much experience.
Well, there has to be a beginning for everything, hasn't there?
Oh, I see. Quite inexperienced. An old house. I hope you've got dry rot.
Certainly not.
A lot of people don't know they've got dry rot until it's too late to do anything about it.
The house is in perfect condition.
Could do with a coat of paint. You know, you've got worm in the soak.
This way, Major!
How do you do?
This is my wife.
Absolute blizzard outside. Thought at one time we shouldn't make it. Oh, I beg your pardon. If it goes on like this, I should say you'll have 5 or 6 feet of snow by morning.
Do hope not.
Not seen anything like it since I was on leave in 1940.
I'll take these up. Which rooms did you say? Blue room and rose room?
Oh no, I put Mr. Wren in the rose room. I like the four posters so much. So it's Major Metcalf in the blue room, Mrs. Boyle in the oak room.
Major?
Sir!
the guest house in full running order. You're ready to start in this place, I suppose. But I would have said that a proper staff of servants was essential before opening such an establishment. Now, I consider your advertisement was most misleading. May I ask if I'm the only other guest along with Major Metcalfe, that is?
No, there are 7 here.
This weather too, a blizzard no less. All very unfortunate.
Couldn't very well foresee the weather now, could we?
Oh, the north wind will blow, and it will bring snow, and what's for the poor Robin do her thing? I pronounce rhymes, don't you? So tragic and macabre. I think that's why children like them.
May I introduce Mr. Wren, Mrs. Boyle?
How do you do?
This is the same. This is a very beautiful house. Don't you think so?
I've come to the time of my life when the amenities of an establishment are far more important than its appearance. If I had not believed it to be a running concern, I should never have come here. I understood it was fully equipped with every home comfort.
There's no obligation for you to remain here if you're not satisfied, Mrs. Boyle.
No, indeed. I shan't think of doing so.
If there's been any misapprehension, it would perhaps be better if you went elsewhere. I can ring up for a taxi to return. The roads are not yet blocked. We've had so many applications for rooms, we should be able to fill your place quite easily. In any case, we're raising our terms next month.
I'm certainly not going to leave before I've tried out what the place is like. You needn't think you can turf me out now. Perhaps, Miss Ralston, it may be best if you bring me up to my room now.
Of course, Mrs. Boyle.
Darling. I think that's a perfectly horrible woman. I'd like to see her turned out into the snow. It's served her right.
It's a pleasure I have to forego, I'm afraid. Lord, there's another of them. Coming in, come in.
I'm afraid my car's gone about half a mile down the road. I ran to a drift.
Let me take that. Any more stuff in the car?
No, I travel light. Glad to see you've got a good file.
Mr. Wren, Mr.
Kate. Looks like you're going to be snowed up there.
My wife will be down in a minute.
The forecast says heavy falls expected. Myrtles warned, etc., etc. Hope you've got plenty of provisions in.
Oh yes, my wife's an excellent manager. In any case, we could always eat our hens.
Before it's ideal with each other, eh?
Listen, is there any news in the paper, apart from the weather?
Usual political crisis. Oh yes, a rather juicy murder.
Oh, a murder! I like murder!
I seem to think it was a homicidal maniac strangling a woman somewhere near Paddington. Sex maniac, I suppose.
Well, see, it doesn't seem to say much. The police are anxious to interview a man seen in the vicinity of Culver Street at the time of the murder. Medium height, wearing an overcoat, a soft felt hat and a light scarf. Messages to this effect have been broadcast throughout the day.
Useful description. Fit for to anyone, wouldn't it?
Oh, let's see, well, who does it say? Oh, the woman's name was a Mrs. Lyne, a Mrs. Maureen Lyne.
Young or old?
I say it doesn't say it. It doesn't seem to have been a robbery.
I told you, sex maniac.
Here's Miss Casewell, Molly, my wife.
How do you do?
It's an awful night. What's it like to go up and see a room? There's hot water if you'd like the bath.
You're right, I would.
Great. I must hurry out and get on with things in the kitchen. Major Metcalfe's very nice. It won't be difficult. Mrs. Boyle really frightens me. You must have a nice dinner. I was thinking of having 2 tins of minced beef and cereal and a tin of peas and mashing the potatoes and there's stewed pigs and custard. Do you think that'd be all right?
Oh, I should think so. Not very original, perhaps.
I say, do let me help. I adore cooking. Why not an omelette? You've got eggs.
Oh, yes. At least we've got lots of eggs. We keep lots of fowls. They don't lay as well as they should, but we've got lots of eggs. Lots of eggs.
Great, and if you've got a bottle of cheap type wine, you could add it to the minced beef and cereal. It would give it a continental flavour. I say, show me where the kitchen is and what you've got, and I dare say I shall have an inspiration.
All right, come on then. together. He says leave it all to him not to come back for half an hour. If all I guess want to do the cooking themselves, it'll save us a lot of trouble, eh?
Why on earth did you give him the best room?
What does? I told you, you like the tall poster.
You like the pretty four-poster? Twerp.
Giles.
You didn't handle his suitcase. I did.
Well, had it got bricks in it?
There's no weight at all. If you were to ask me, I'd say he was one of those young men who go about bilking hotel keepers.
No, I don't believe it. I like him. I think this case was rather peculiar, don't you?
Terrible female!
If she is.
If she is a female, exactly.
But it seems very hard that I guess she'd be unpleasant or odd. I think Major Makoff's all right, though, don't you?
Probably drinks.
Oh, do you think so?
No, I don't. I'm just feeling rather depressed. But anyway, at least we know the worst now. They've all arrived.
Oh, who do you think that could be?
Probably the Culver Street murder.
Oh, don't!
I wasn't part. I am. Whatever.
This is unswell mannered business.
But what's the bonus for, Dawn? Madame? Oh. What I want you to play. My rose was, alas, is thrown in no story. Running through everywhere. I do not know where I am. Perhaps I think to myself, I shall freeze to death. And there's a tickle hill party. And I stand up for snow. And there is for me big iron plates, Attention! I am saved, And Joseph wanted to stop me for I don't cry, You can let me have room, yes?
Yes.
Oh, but it's a rather small one, I'm afraid. But...
Oh, naturally, you have a guest.
Yeah, well, we just opened this house as a guest house today, so we're rather new at it.
Oh, charming.
What about your luggage?
No, that is of no consequence. I have locked the car securely.
Wouldn't it be better to get it in?
No. I can assure you on such a night as there will be no thieves about. And as for me, my wants are very simple. I have all I need here. This is the bag. All I need.
I'll see to your room. It's rather golden, I'm afraid, because the place is north, but all the others are occupied.
You have several guests then?
Oh yes, there's Major Metcalf and Mrs. Boyle and Miss Casewell and Christopher Wren and you.
Yes, the unexpected guest. The guest who just arrived from nowhere and to the store. It sounds quite dramatic, does it not? Who am I? You do not know. Where do I come from? You do not know, Me, I am the man of mystery. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Yes.
But now I tell you this, I complete the picture. From now on, there will be no more rivals and no more departures either. By tomorrow, perhaps even already, we are cut off from civilization. No butcher, no maker, no baker, no milkman, no dairy peppers, nothing, and nobody but ourselves. That is admirable. That is admirable. It could not suit me better. And this is Mount Sorrel guest house.
Oh yes.
That's perfect. Perfect!
Not to have told us they were only just starting this place.
Well, everything's got to have a beginning, you know. Excellent breakfast this morning. Good coffee, scrambled eggs, homemade marmalade, and all nicely served too. Little woman does it all herself.
Amateurs! There should be a proper staff.
Excellent lunch too.
Corned beef.
But very well disguised corned beef. Red wine in it. Mrs. Ralston promised to make a pie for us tonight.
It's not very hot. I shall speak of it.
Very comfortable beds too, at least mine was. Hope yours was too.
It was quite adequate. I don't quite see why the best bedroom should have been given to that very peculiar young man.
Got here ahead of us. First come, first served.
From the advertisement, I got quite a different impression of what this place would be like. A much larger place altogether, with a comfortable writing room, and bridge and other amenities.
Regular old Tabby's delight.
I beg your pardon?
I mean, yes, I quite see what you mean.
No, I shan't stay here long.
Oh, no, I don't suppose you will.
Really? What a very peculiar young man. Unbalanced mentally, I shouldn't wonder.
Think he's escaped from a lunatic asylum?
I shouldn't be at all surprised.
Giles!
Yes!
Can you shut the snow again through the back door, please?
Coming!
I'll give you a hand. What? Good exercise. Nice fun exercise.
What an incredible young woman. Carrying a bucket through the front hall. Aren't there any back stairs?
Oh yes, nice stairs. Very convenient if they're on fire.
Then why not use them? Anyway, all the housework should have been done this morning before lunch.
I gather our hostess had to come to lunch.
All very haphazard and amateurish. They should be your proper staff.
Not very easy to get nowadays, is it?
I gather you are a socialist.
No, I'm not red, more of a pale pink. So I don't take much interest in politics. I live abroad.
I suppose conditions are much easier abroad.
I don't have to cook and clean as I gather most people have to do in this country.
This country's gone sadly downhill. Not what it used to be. I sold my house last year. Everything was just too difficult.
Hotels and guest houses are easier.
They certainly solve someone's problems. Tell me, are you over in England for long?
Depends. I've got some business to see to. When it's done, I shall go back.
To France?
No.
Italy?
No.
Oh, would you mind not having on that quite so loud? I always find the radio rather distracting when one is trying to write letters.
Do you?
If you don't particularly want to listen just now.
It's my favourite music. The writing table in there.
I know, but it's much warmer in here.
Much warmer, I agree. Bloody old bitch.
I say, where am I going? That woman hands me down. Why don't you glares at me? Positively glares.
Turn down. That's alright. Yeah. It served its purpose. Tactics, boy.
Oh, you mean her? I see she's pinched the best chair, but you got it now, yes?
Yes. That's
Oh,
right.
I say, let's think of things we should do to annoy her, shall we? I wish you'd go away from here.
In this, not a hope.
Yes, but when the snow melts.
Oh, when the snow melts, lots of things may have happened.
Yes, that's true, that's true. Snow's rather lovely, isn't it? So peaceful and pure. It makes one forget things.
Doesn't make me forget.
Oh, how fierce you sound.
I was thinking.
What sort of thinking?
Ice on a bedroom jug. Chilblains, raw and bleeding. One thin ragged blanket. A child shivering with cold.
Oh, say, my dear, it sounds too grim. What is it? A novel?
You didn't know I was a writer, did you?
Oh, are you?
Sorry to disappoint you. Actually, I'm not.
Yes? Is this this month's one at a guest house? What? Oh, no, I'm afraid Mr. Ralston can't come to the telephone just now. This is Mrs. Ralston speaking. Who? Berkshire Police. Oh, yes, Superintendent Hogburn. Oh, I'm afraid I'll never get her. It was snowed up, completely snowed up. The roads are impassable, nothing can get through, but... What? Yes, well, very well. But, hello? Hello?
Molly, do you know there's another spade?
Charles, the police have just run up.
Trouble with the police, eh? Serving liquor without a license?
I'll send you somebody to an inspector or something.
But he'll never get here.
That's what I said. But they seemed quite confident that he would.
Nonsense. Even a jeep couldn't get through today. Anyway, what's it all about?
That's what I asked, but they wouldn't say. They just said I was to impress upon my husband to listen carefully to what Sergeant Trotter, I think it was, had to say, and to follow his instructions implicitly. Isn't it extraordinary?
What on earth do they think we've done?
Do you think it's those nylons from Gibraltar?
I did remember to get the wireless license, didn't
Oh,
I?
yes, that's in the kitchen dresser there.
I had a near shave with another car the other day. But it was entirely the other fellow's fault.
Well, we must have done something.
Probably something to do with this place. I expect to have ignored some tin pot regulation of some ministry or other. You practically can't avoid it these days.
Oh dear. Wish we hadn't started this place. We're going to be snowed up for days and everyone's
filled all the coal scuttles, and brought in the wood, and stoked the agger, and done the hens, and I'm going to boil the eggs and chop some kindling. And do you know, Molly, come to think of it, it must be something pretty serious to send a police sergeant trekking out in all of this. God, it must be something really urgent.
Ah, there you are, Mr. Ralston. Do you know that the heating in the library is practically stone cold?
I'm running a bit short of coke.
I'm paying 7 guineas a week here. 7 guineas, and I do not wish to freeze.
I'll go and stoke it up.
Miss Ralston. Yes. If you don't mind me saying, that was a very extraordinary young man you have staying here. His manners, and his ties, and does he ever brush his hair?
Well, he's an extremely brilliant young architect.
I beg your pardon?
Christopher Wren is an architect.
My dear young woman, I've actually heard of Sir Christopher Wren. Of course he was an architect. He built St. Paul's. You young people seem to think that no one is educated but yourselves.
No, I meant this Wren. His parents called him that because they wanted him to be an architect, and he is one, or nearly one, so it turned out all right.
Sounds a fishy story to me. I should make some inquiries about him if I were you. I mean, what do you know of him?
Just about as much as I know about you, Mrs. Boyle, which is that you're both paying us 7 guineas a week. That's all I really need to know, isn't it? And all that concerns me. Doesn't matter to me whether I like my guests or whether I don't.
You are young and inexperienced, and you welcome some advice from someone more knowledgeable than yourself. What about this foreigner?
What about him?
Well, what do you know of him?
Don't know we're bona fide travellers against the law, Mrs. Boyle. You should know that.
Why do you say that?
Aren't you a magistrate sitting on the thrones? Sitting on the bench, Mrs. Boyle?
Well, all I say is if this Paravicini or whatever he calls it seems to me...
Beware, lady! You talk of the devil at the roof! Oh!
I didn't hear you come in.
Nobody even hears me when I do this, you know? I can only tiptoe. I find that very amusing.
Indeed.
Now there is a young lady.
Well, I must get on with my letters. I'll see if there's a little warm in the drawing room.
My charming hostess looks upset. What is it, dear lady?
Everything's rather difficult this morning because of the snow.
Yes, snow makes things difficult, does it not? Huh? Or else it makes them easy. Yes, very easy.
I don't know what you mean.
No! There's quite a lot you do not know. I think, for example, you do not very know about running a gas house, huh?
I dare say we don't, but we need to make a go of it.
Bravo!
I'm not such a very bad cook.
Oh, you never done an enchanting cook. Mwah! May I give you a little word of warning, Mrs. Watson?
Yes.
You and your husband must not be too trusting. Have you references of the guest of yours?
Well, is that usual? I always have thought that people just came.
It is advisable to know little about the people who sleep under your roof. Take, for example, myself. I come in saying that my car overturned in a dog. What do you know about me?
Well,
Nothing. I can be a thief, I can be a robber, I can be a fugitive from justice, I can be madman, and I can be a murderer. Oh, see, you know, maybe you just as little about your other guests.
well, as far as Mrs. Boyle goes, she's...
The drawing room is far too cold to walk right in. I shall write my letters in here.
Allow me to poke the fire for
Mrs. Ralston, is your husband about? I'm afraid the pipes of the downstairs cloakroom are frozen.
Oh, dear, what an awful day. First the police and now the pipes.
Police!
Police, did you say?
Yes. They're sending out a sergeant or inspector or something, but I didn't think they'll ever get here.
Bloody coach, more than half stone, and the price. Hello? Is anything the matter?
I hear the police are on their way here. Why?
That's all right. Nobody will get here. Why, the drifts must be 5 feet deep. The roads are all banked up. Nobody will get here today. Excuse me, Mr. Paravicini. No, put this down.
Hey, Mr. Ralston? Detective Sergeant Trotter, Berkshire Police. Can I come in? Somebody skis somewhere.
Go around that way to the front. I'll meet you.
Hang us up.
I suppose that's what we pay our police force for nowadays. To go around enjoying themselves with winter sports.
What did you say for the police, Mr. Watson?
Where did he come from? He passed a drawing room window on skis, all over snow. And look in turn
may believe it or believe it not, but the man is a policeman. A policeman skied.
This is Detective Sergeant Trotter.
Good afternoon.
You can't be a sergeant, you're too young.
Not quite as young as I look, madam.
Maybe it's a terribly holiday.
You stow your skis away under the stairs.
Excuse me, Mrs. Ralston, but may I use your telephone?
Of course, Mr. Metcalf.
It's very attractive, isn't it?
No, great, you can see that at a glance.
Hello? Hello? Mrs. Ralston, this telephone is dead. Quite dead.
It was all right about half an hour ago.
The line's gone with the weight of the snow, I suppose.
Oh, so we're quite alone now, quite alone. That's funny, isn't it?
I don't see anything to laugh at.
No, indeed.
But it's a private joke of my own. Hist, the sleuth is returning.
Now, Mr. Ralston. Mrs. Ralston,
Yes.
we can get to business.
Do you want to see us alone? If so, we can go into the library.
Oh, it's not necessary, sir. It'll save time if everyone's present. I might sit at this table. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Burton, tell us what have we done?
Done?
Yes.
Well, it's nothing of that kind, madam. Something quite different. Or a matter of police protection, if you understand me.
Police protection. What on earth?
It relates to the death of Mrs. Lyne, Mrs. Maureen Lyne, 24 Carver Street, London, West 2. Found murdered yesterday, the 15th instant. You may have heard or read about this case.
I heard about it on the wireless. Woman was strangled.
Yes. Now, the first thing I want to know is, were you at all acquainted with this Mrs. Lyne?
Never heard of her.
You may not have known her under the name of Lyne. Lyne wasn't her real name. She had a police record, so her fingerprints were on file. We were able to trace her without too much difficulty. Her real name was Stanning, Mrs. Maureen Stanning. Her husband, a farmer, was John Stanning, who resided not far from here at Longridge Farm.
Longridge Farm? Isn't that where those children?
Yes, the Longridge Farm case.
3 children.
That's right, miss, the Corrigans. 2 boys and a girl. Brought before the courts in need of care and protection. A none was found for the children at Longridge Farm with Mr. and Mrs. Stanning. One of the children subsequently died of criminal neglect and persistent ill treatment.
It's horrible. Okay.
Stannings was sentenced to terms of imprisonment. John Stanning died in prison. Mrs. Stanning served the sentence and was duly released. And as I say, found murdered yesterday at Carver Street.
But who did it?
I'm coming to that, madam. A notebook was found near the scene of the crime. In it was written 2 addresses. One was 24 Carver Street. The other was Monkswell Manor.
What?
Yes. That's why Superintendent Logman, on receiving this information from Scotland Yard, thought it imperative for me to come out here and find out if you knew of any connection between this house or anyone in this house and the Longridge Farm case.
There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. It must be a coincidence.
Superintendent Logman doesn't see it as a coincidence, sir. He'd have come himself if it had been any way possible. Given the weather, and as I can ski, he sent me here. To get full particulars of everyone in the household and to take whatever steps I deem necessary to ensure the safety of the household.
Safety? What dangers does he think we're in? Good Lord, he's not suggesting someone's going to be killed here.
That's what I've got to find out from you.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
As the superintendent sees it, there has to be some connection.
The whole thing's crazy.
It's because it's crazy that it's dangerous.
Nonsense.
I must say, it seems a bit far-fetched.
I think it's wonderful.
Is there something you're not telling us, Sergeant?
Yes, Mrs. Ralston. In either two addresses was written the words "Free Blind Mice," and on the dead woman's body was a paper. On it was written, "This is the first," and below that, a bar of music and a drawing of the three blind mice. The music was to the tune of the nursery rhyme, "Three blind mice." You know how it goes. Three blind mice.
See how they ride, they go enough to run.
It's horrible.
There were 3 children and 1 died. What happened to the other 2?
The girl was adopted by someone. We haven't been able to trace her whereabouts as yet. The boy He'd be about 22 now, deserted from the army, and has not been heard from since. Army psychologists did say he was a definite schizophrenic. A bit queer in the head, that is to say.
I think that it was you who killed Mrs. Lyon or Mrs. Stanning. And
Yes.
he was a homicidal maniac. He's going to turn up here and try and kill someone, but why?
Again, that's what I've got to find out from you. There has to be some connection.
I don't know of any connection here. Do you? Charles?
Yeah.
Yes. No connection.
Now, can I have all your names, please?
This is quite ridiculous. We're merely staying at a sort of hotel. We only arrived here yesterday. We know absolutely nothing and nothing to do with this.
You knew we were coming here in advance, though, right?
Well,
Booked your room here ahead of time.
well, yes, all except Mr.
Mr. Boravici, my court of attorney has noted.
You see, what I'm getting at is, anyone who's been following you around might well know that you were coming here. Now, there's just one thing I want to know, and I want to know quick. Which one of you is it has some connection to this business at Longridge Farm? You're not being very clever, you know. One of you's in danger. Deadly danger. And I've got to know which one that is. Alright? I'll ask you all one at a time. You first, sir, seeing as you seem to have arrived here more or less by accident. Mr. Parry.
Boravici, para, eh? Moment, Inspector, I do nothing about all you talking about, eh? I'm a stranger in this country. I do nothing about these affairs of Bourgonniers.
Mrs.
Boyle. I don't see. I consider it an impertinence. Why should I have anything to do with such distressing business?
Miss?
Casewell, Leslie Casewell. I never heard of Longridge Farm and I don't know anything about it.
Metcalfe, Major, read about the case in the papers at the time. I was stationed at Edinburgh then, no personal knowledge.
And,
Oh, Christopher Wren. I was a mere child at the time. I don't even remember hearing about it.
and that's all you've got to say. Any of you. Well, if one of you gets murdered, you'll only have yourselves to blame. Now, Miss Rolson, can I have a look around the house? How you?
Ideas are very melodramatic. He's very attractive, isn't he? His distinctive are very attractive. Stern and hard-boiled. How does the tune go? Three-line
Really, Mr. Rain?
Oh, don't you like it? But it's a signature tune. The tune of a murderer. If I say just fancy what a kick, he must be getting out of it.
Melodramatic rubbish. I don't believe a word of it.
Oh, just wait. Till I creep behind you. And you put my hands around your trousers.
That'll do, Mr. Mark. It's a good joke anyway. In fact, it's not a joke at all.
Oh, it is. That's just what it is, a madman's tune. That's what just makes it so deliciously macabre. I say, if you could just all see your faces right now.
A sickly, ill-mannered and neurotic young man.
Where's Charles?
Taking our policeman on a conducted tour of the house.
Your friend, the architect, is behaving in the most abnormal manner.
Young fellows seem nervy nowadays. Dare say he'll grow out of it.
Of nerves. I have no patience with people who say they have nerves. I haven't any nerves.
No? Perhaps that's just as well for you, Mrs. Boyle.
Why do you say that?
I think you're actually one of the magistrates on the bench at the time. In fact, you were responsible for sending those 3 children to Longridge Farm.
Really, Major Metcalfe, I can hardly be held responsible. We had reports from welfare workers. The farm people seemed very nice and were most anxious to have the children. It all seemed very satisfactory. Eggs and fresh milk and a healthy outdoor life.
Kicks, blows, starvation, and a thoroughly vicious couple.
Well, how was I to know? They were really civilly spoken.
So I was right. It was you.
Well, one tries to do public duty and all one gets rebuked.
You must forgive me, but I find this very amusing. I'm enjoying myself greatly.
Where did he come from last night?
I don't know.
Looks a bit of a spib to me. Makes his face up rouge and powder.
Disgusting.
You must be quite ill too.
And she skips about as though we were quite young.
You'll be wanting more wood. I get it.
It's getting dark and it's only 4 in the afternoon. I'll turn the lights on. There, that's better.
Now, where did I leave my pen?
What a horrid little tune that is.
Don't you like it? Remind you of your child, perhaps. Perhaps an unhappy childhood.
Yeah, I was very happy as a child.
You're lucky.
Weren't you happy?
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's a long time ago. One gets over things.
I suppose so.
Or doesn't one? Damn hard to say.
They say that what happens to you as a child matters more than anything else.
They say, who says?
Psychologists.
Just a damn lot of nonsense. I've no use for psychologists and psychiatrists.
Well, I've never really had much to do with them.
Lucky for you, you haven't. It's just a damn lot of hooey. The whole thing. Life's what you make of it. Go straight ahead. Don't look back.
One can't always help looking back.
Nonsense. It's willpower.
Perhaps. I expect you're right. But sometimes things happen to make you remember.
Turn your back on them. Don't give in.
Is that really the right way? I wonder. Perhaps that way is wrong. Perhaps one really ought to turn and face them.
Depends on what you're talking about.
Sometimes I hardly know what I'm talking about.
Nothing from the past is going to affect me, except in the way I want it to.
Everything's all right upstairs. What's room here? Drawing room?
When you throw that drawer, it makes a good drop.
Oh, I'm sorry, madam, but I've got to get to lay at the land.
What's all this?
Well, that completes it all. Nothing suspicious. I think I'll make my report to Superintendent Ogden now.
But you can't use the telephone, the line's dead.
What? Since when?
Major Mycroft tried it just after you arrived.
He was all right earlier. Superintendent Ogden got through all right.
Oh yes. Well, I suppose since then the lines are down for snow.
I wonder if it's been cut.
Cut? But who can cut it?
Just how well do you know these people who are staying here in your guest house, Mr. Ralston?
Oh, we don't really know them. Mrs. Ball wrote from a Bournemouth hotel. Major Metcalf from an address in, where was it?
Well, Lamington, I think.
Wren wrote from Hampstead. The Casewell woman from a private hotel in Kensington. And Paravicini, as we've already told you, arrived out of the blue last night. Still, I suppose they've all got ration books, that sort of thing.
Oh, I shall be looking into all of that, of course. It's just, there isn't much reliance on that kind of evidence.
But even if this crazy killer's going to turn up here and try and kill us all, or one of us, I mean, we're all right now. Because of the snow, nobody can get out till it melts. So...
Unless he's here already.
Here already?
Why not? All these people arrived here yesterday evening, some hours after the crime. Plenty of time to get here.
Well, except for Mr. Paravicini, they all booked beforehand.
Why not? These crimes were planned.
Crimes? There's only been one crime in Culver Street. Why are you so sure there'll be another one here?
That there will be another one here? No, I hope to prevent that. That it will be attempted? Yes.
I can't believe it. It's so fantastic.
It's not fantastic, it's just facts.
But have you got a description of what this man in London looked like?
Medium height, indeterminate build, soft felt hat, face covered with a muffler, spoke in a whisper. There are 3 darkish overcoats hanging in the old house, though. And 3 felt hats.
I still don't believe it. So the whole thing.
You see, it's this telephone wire that worries me, if it's been cut.
I must go on out to the kitchen, get on with the vegetables.
Is there an extension?
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yes, I said, is there an extension?
Yes, up in the bedroom.
Run up there and check it for me, will you?
Who's left this window open?
To understand what I may term as the mechanics of fear, you have to study the precise effect produced on the human mind. Imagine, for instance, that you are alone in a room. It is late in the afternoon. A door opens softly behind you.
Oh, it's you. I cannot find anything worth listening to on the radio.
I know a
What are you doing? Why did you turn out the light?
Like all the people, he never knows the crowd, and everybody says he is the happiest man in town.